Well, it's probably time that I get back to working on the smart car. You get the wrong parts and then you're like, I'm going to give it a break for a while, but I've got enough of what it takes to get it started for some of the projects that I have to do. And now that I'm looking at it, I think that I'm probably going to, there is a bushing back there that holds this Didion tube. I might have talked about it in a previous video. You could probably see the nut on it back there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull that bushing out and I'm going to replace it because I've got everything apart, and that's the last piece that would be degraded and causing the back end to slide back and forth once I get all of the bushings put in. So I think I'm going to drop that, which is just going to mean that I have to take off some of these lines here, undo my coilover, or at least my strut for the coilover. The coil will pop out, and then I'm going to have to undo the brake line and the ABS line. And then we'll pull the drive shafts out, and then I'll just lower the whole Didion assembly out, and hopefully that will be everything that needs to be done so I can replace that bushing. So I'll go underneath there and get some shots so that you can see what I'm talking about up close, and then we'll get to work. Here again, this is where the engine mount. This is where the mount is for the bushing that I want to replace. So I'm going to pull these nuts out, or the nut off this side, pull the bolt out of that, and then I'm going to drop the whole Didion tube down, and hopefully that'll allow me to get to that bushing and replace that bushing. That should be the last thing in there that needs to be replaced. Alright, so I just got back out from underneath the car, showing you guys where the bushing is. So I guess the plan now is I'm going to have to lower that whole Didion tube. That's going to require me to unbolt the strut and then, like I said, do these clips, get everything out of the clips there, get my hydraulic line and my ABS sensor line off of there. As with so many things, as you go, you learn, and so now I'm realizing that I will have to be taking the emergency brake cable off, even though I've unsnapped it from the Didion tube. I am not going to be able to just unconnect that, probably without removing the hub, which is okay by me, because I was actually thinking those needed to be painted. They looked pretty horrible. So we'll probably get those off of there, and then we'll get them painted. And when we get them off of there, hopefully we can see how to pull the emergency brake. Hopefully it's just a cable that's connected to something and we can pull it right out. But we'll get down there and we'll find out, and we'll see what's going on. you know, we just keep getting further. First it was just the suspension, and then we were going to do the oil pan, and then I'm going to do the Didion tube bushing, and so now we're actually going to end up doing a brake job on the back. Also not too sure about getting the e-brake cable off of there, because I just looked at it and it didn't look too promising. So we'll dig around in there some more and find out what's going on, and then we'll get back to pulling the rest of this apart. I'm gonna have to make a video for you guys here instead of just taking footage all the time, but I have to go back to work, stop working on the smart car. After I got almost everything taken off of the rear axle, I realized one thing. I have the whole bracket right there full of brake lines, and that's welded to the Didion tube, so that means I'm gonna have to take those brake lines off. And that doesn't look like a lot of fun, but I don't know. That's what I'll be doing when we come back. Maybe I'll throw a video together for you guys so that it's not super long. But I figure, oh man, a lot of work to do. I just keep digging into it and then finding more stuff to do. So we'll get back to it, and we won't end the shot with me silhouetted with a bunch of backlighting. How's that? All right, guys, take care.